All right, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, the Oracle of Wealth Building, the Oracle of Nation Building, the Oracle of Breaking Generational Curses and creating a new state of wellness holistically. It becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, our Insuring Our Black Futures Home. Divinity. Goddis.
Peace and blessings and love and light to everybody who is watching this right now and to everyone who will watch this in the future. Shout out to all my people who are watching live on Facebook. Um, you know what time it is? It's the third Thursday of the month. So we are indeed talking about ensuring our Black futures, how we can create generational wealth through life insurance. Um, and like I said earlier, a few minutes ago, I definitely wanted to touch on, I've seen posts of questions being posed on Facebook about why life insurance isn't mandatory like car insurance. And there's a very simple explanation as to why life insurance is not mandatory. Life insurance is not mandatory because it would automatically create wealth for families. And being as though life insurance proceeds are not taxable, the government doesn't want you walking around getting loads of money tax free that they cannot get their hands on. So we have to think about it that way. Like if they made life insurance mandatory, like they made car insurance mandatory, you would see a swift shift in people's financial structures for their families. You would see actual families pulling themselves up out of poverty and creating wealth, cutting off the need for government funding. And that's why life insurance is not mandatory for us. But we're not taught to insure ourselves either. So they have us kind of in a chokehold when it comes to life insurance because we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to think about it. We don't like to learn about it. And the fact that it's not mandatory means plenty of people are walking around without life insurance. And that means there's not going to be any sort of transfers of wealth to our families because we don't have adequate life insurance put in place. Now, 9 times out of 10, when you go get a job, if it's part time, full time, they're going to offer you in your annual benefits package, they're going to offer you some sort of insurance. They're going to offer you your health insurance. They're going to offer you some sort of life insurance. Um, but you have to look at the amount of coverage that your job is offering you. Most people simply know that they have a policy through their job. That's the extent of what they know about what kind of life insurance they have. They just know I have a policy through my job. They take out $7 a pay period, and that's it. They don't know how much it's for. They don't know if their company also has a policy on them since they participated in group life insurance. And they have no idea how it's going to pay out and benefit their families. They don't know what the process is in order to make sure that their families are taken care of. And chances are, unless you have a significant position at your job, the amount of coverage that you actually have is not going to be enough to support your family after you're gone. It may be just enough to pay for a funeral, pay off a bill or two. But if you have small children that still have some time to go to get through life, if you just have a $50,000 policy, if you just have $100,000 policy through your job and your children are under 18, that's a whole lot of money being taken away from them because there's not going to be money left to support them. They got to pay for your home going, they have to pay off any debt that you have, and then your children still have to live, and somebody else has to now take care of them, and that income and support is now gone. So we have to make sure that we are getting policies on ourselves that are sufficient amount of policies at that. Like I said, life insurance is not mandatory. The government will never make it mandatory. That is not something we will ever see. It will never be a mandatory thing like car insurance because it would create wealth for brown and black families. Government doesn't want that. They want us to have to depend on them. They want us to continue to have to, depend on government assistance. So they're not going to make life insurance mandatory. Not ever. They would never do such a thing because again, it's tax-free money, and they don't want you getting buttloads of tax-free money that they can't touch. So we have to make sure that we do our due diligence and get sufficient policies put in place. But I always tell people, go with what's in your financial structure. If right now all you can afford is a small policy that would be enough to pay for your funeral, get that in place. And as you begin to progress financially, so should your life insurance. Your life insurance needs to be upgraded as your life gets upgraded, as your finances get upgraded. I can't tell you how many actual business owners I've talked to, small business owners that I've talked to that don't have life insurance, that don't even have the basics to pay for a funeral, let alone enough to cover their business for them to be able to pass it down to somebody else in their family. If they have adult children, they don't even have insurance in place for that. So if you're a business owner, you should at least have a 500,000 to $1 million policy to help your business thrive after you're gone. If you and a partner own a business, y'all should have insurance on each other. It's called key man insurance. You guys should have that on one another so that in the event that one of you passes away, the proceeds from that life insurance policy would go to pay for your portion of the business. There's so many things that we need to learn about when it comes to life insurance and how it will actually benefit our lives, how it can actually set us up to be financially independent. We keep looking at all of these quick fixes out here like I want to invest in crypto. Great, do that. But where's your life insurance? Where's the long haul? Because when the market dips, your money dips. With life insurance, you don't have to worry about that risk unless you have a variable universal life policy. So these are the things we have to learn about. And like I said, I've been wanting to talk about why life insurance isn't mandatory because I keep seeing people post about it. They should make, we've had all of these celebrities pass away and none of them have had life insurance, and everybody's sitting here like, oh, one, we're shocked that they don't have life insurance, but we also have to remember in the black community, we don't talk about life insurance like that. We're very uneducated when it comes to the ins and out of life insurance. And that's okay. But now it's time to change that. Now it's time to get educated about life insurance so that we can make sure that our families are going to be taken care of. So we're shocked when these celebrities pass away without life insurance. And then we're shocked, that, oh, the government hasn't made life insurance mandatory. They're not going to. They're never going to. I cannot stress this to you guys enough in saying that life insurance will never be mandatory like car insurance. You're never going to see that because of what it can do for families' financial stability. You're not going to see that. And that's just something that we have to be okay with knowing and understanding. The government's never going to mandate life insurance be a mandatory thing. So, with that being said, do your own research. Talk to people in the insurance industry. Here's another thing that we have to stop doing. We have to stop taking advice about certain things from people that are not specialists in those areas. You cannot ask your friends and family about life insurance if they don't have a life insurance license because they don't know the proper things to tell you. They can only tell you what they've heard. They can only tell you what their insurance person maybe has told them. They can only tell you what they think their HR person has told them. They cannot tell you specifics. They cannot tell you the ins and outs about life insurance. They can't even tell you all the ways you can actually utilize life insurance if they do not have a life insurance license. whether they used to sell life insurance or they currently sell life insurance. Those are the people that you want to be talking to. You do not want to take advice from somebody on life insurance that has never had a life insurance license, but they can just, oh, I listen to Dave Ramsey and he said X, Y, and Z is bad. Dave Ramsey doesn't even have a life insurance license. Stop taking advice from people who are not experts in the field. Talk to multiple people who have life insurance licenses if you want to. But please get some solid information and don't rely on friends and family or your HR person that has no life insurance license whatsoever to try to tell you how or what kind of policy you should be getting. They cannot tell you anything because they don't know. You would not ask a person who has never driven a car about anything about your car. What can they tell you? If they've never owned a car, never driven a car, never had a driver's license, what are they going to tell you about a car? Absolutely nothing. So take that with and use that analogy for life insurance. If people have not taken a test to become an insurance agent or broker, stop listening to them when it comes to life insurance because they don't know. Talk to somebody like myself, talk to multiple people like myself who have a life insurance license and are actively doing something in life insurance. And again, like I said, you can even talk to people who used to sell life insurance that have had a license that took the state test. But don't take advice about life insurance from people who've never had a life insurance license at all. You're setting yourself up for failure because there's nothing that they can tell you. There's nothing useful they can tell you. All they can tell you is, well, what I heard, and this is what I heard about life insurance, and so said this about it. That's not useful information. So those are two things that I wanted to talk about. The last thing that I want to talk about is our elders are out here passing away with no life insurance. Too many of our elders do not have life insurance. You know how I know? I just sat on the phone today getting transferred calls pretty much all day long from seniors that do not have life insurance. And that is very alarming that our elders are out here and they don't have life insurance. A lot of them have never had life insurance. But we're sitting here hoping and praying that we think they have these things together because we're not asking. We don't want to ask. We don't want to upset them. We don't want to talk about death. We don't want to do the hard stuff. And this is not really the hard stuff. This is actually the necessary stuff. It's necessary for us to know who has life insurance, for how much, with what company. So that way, when the time comes, we know what company needs to be notified. We know how much we are supposed to be getting to help pay for their funeral expenses, to help pay off their debt, to help pay for whatever it is that needs to be paid for. These are things we need to know and we have to stop running away from. And again, we have to make sure our elders have this stuff in place. We also have to make sure that other families are not taking advantage of our elders that have whole life insurance where the money can be borrowed against it. Because some of our family members we know have zero scruples and they will have them pull out every single cent of that life insurance policy. And when the time comes, there's nothing left to pay for a funeral because they have taken all the money out of it. So we have to make sure that our families are taken care of. We have to make sure that somebody or a few somebodies that are responsible in every family knows what's going on, who has what companies need to be called, how much these policies are for. And we have to make sure that we know that everybody has a policy. And let me tell you this, we have to stop frowning on getting life insurance for the babies. Because unfortunately, babies pass away too. Children pass away too. We see it every single day. And there's so many parents out here that do not have life insurance on their children. Why? Because most of them don't even have it on themselves. Some do have it on themselves, but they refuse to put life insurance on their child. Ask a parent that's lost a child with no life insurance if they wish they had a policy on their child. And I guarantee you they're going to tell you they wish they had life insurance because That was devastating to them to lose their baby. And then they had to turn around and raise money to bury their baby because they didn't put life insurance on the baby. So these are the things we have to start doing. We have to make sure that we put life insurance in place for our families so that we can make sure our families can be financially set when the time comes. If you're the type of person that's like, I don't want to make anybody rich off my death, hey, that's cool. Whatever floats your boat. But can you at least get a policy that will pay for your cremation or homegoing or memorial service, whatever it is you want to have? Can you at least make sure you put that in place? Nobody should have to come out of their pocket for anything for a responsible working adult. You should have taken care of that. That's on you. That's your responsibility. Because at the end of the day, when you pass, somebody's got to pay for it. It's coming out of somebody's pocket. I would much rather it come out of an insurance company's bank account than any of my family members' bank account. So let's stop being selfish and make sure we put this stuff in place. So again, what did we learn today? The government will never make life insurance mandatory like car insurance is mandatory. Make sure you have a policy outside of your job. Make sure you know how much life insurance you even have on your job so you know what you need to get outside of your job to supplement what you have at work. Make sure our elders have life insurance in place and that their policies have not been drained by some leeching, mooching behind family member that then hoodwink them into taking all the money out of those policies. Make sure our elders are taken care of. You know, they've done their part to help raise the family and all of this stuff. Let's make sure that they have what they need to have to be properly sent off. Make sure the babies have life insurance. All of this stuff is, the things that we don't want to think about are the things that we need to make sure we have in place. Because as we know, things happen every single day. We don't know when, we don't know when our time is going to be up. We don't know when we're departing here. The least we can do is have our affairs in order because that's what responsible people do. They put things in place to make sure that nobody else has to suffer, struggle, or whatever the case may be upon their passing. So those are the things that I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about, is making sure that we know the government's not going to take care of us. The government's never going to mandate life insurance. Make sure you have something outside of your job, a policy that will supplement what you have at work. Make sure our elders are taken care of. Make sure the babies are taken care of. That's everybody. That's the whole family. Make sure the whole family is taken care of. And make sure all the responsible people in the family know who has what, know how much is what, know what's going on with all of our family members so that people can pass away and there's no stress, no strain, no pressure left on the people behind. And get out here, folks, and work on yourself. Healing should not be something, that is be healing shouldn't be a passe topic for you. Healing should be an internal journey. Healing should be something that you focus on. There's always room for improvement. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as a completely healed person. There's levels to healing. And, it takes you going through some things to realize that shit, maybe I still got some work to do. You know, things I've said to myself recently, shit, I still got some work to do. But I can admit that to myself and I can sit down and write out, okay, these are some things that I need to do better with. These are some things that I need to continue to work on. These are things that are going to push my growth and elevation in the future. So let me start working on these things now, because these things, if I don't work on them now, are going to continue to be an issue for me later. So I appreciate every opportunity and every experience that I have encountered that has forced me to look at myself so that I can continue on my healing journey, because I understand that if I don't work on being a better light being right now, the chances of me having to deal with myself later are far greater than I want to even imagine. Life is always going to teach you things about yourself Hopefully you're paying attention so that you can get the message. If we stop looking at life as a tally of wins of losses and change our mindset to see everything as a lesson or a blessing, then we will be much better off. We get so focused on the negative that we forget that there's a lesson in there for us that we need to learn in order for us to level up and be the great human beings that we are supposed to be while we're here on this planet. Look at those lessons and realize that you're not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as somebody who has it all together, because there's always room for improvement. And that's what life is about, is becoming the best you so you can motivate the people around you to become the best them, so that we can raise the vibrations of the madness that's going on out here. We got to combat that with being better human beings. And it starts with us. Everything begins and ends with us. So what are you doing to make sure you are a better person? Are you healing from your past? Are you holding yourself accountable? Are you forcing yourself to grow and to release the dysfunctional behaviors that you've clung onto so dearly that have stopped your growth? Only you have the answers to that, and only you can save you. There's nobody else that's coming to save you. There's no mystical, magical character coming down from out of the sky that's going to save you. They don't exist. You are the source. You are the gift. You are the blessing. But you have to be those things to yourself first, because that's the only way you're going to grow. And again, these are things that I've been telling myself lately. I still have some work to do. I still have some healing to do. I still have some growing to do. And I'm woman enough to admit that to myself and to anybody else that I need to admit that to. I still have work to do. And I'm going to do that work, because I know that I am a blessing to myself, and I'm going to continue to be a blessing to myself so that I can be a blessing to those around me, and realize that everything works out the way that it's supposed to when it's supposed to. There is a lesson or a blessing in everything that you do, in every situation, in every relationship, partnership, businessship, friendship. There's always something there for you to learn. There's always something there for you to expand on. There's always something there for you to level up on. So put that focus into you and work on yourself and become a better person for you. Don't do it for anybody else. This is your journey, and nobody else can walk this walk for you. You have to do it for yourself. When you become a better person for you, you inspire others, you motivate others around you to become better for them, because they see what it's doing for you. Your aura changes, your energy changes, and you become the beautiful light being that you're supposed to be. So that's my message for you guys today. And I hope that everything that I say here today touches somebody who needs it. And I just want to send out love and light, peace and blessings, and elevation to you all.
Is you faded, 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 so faded, faded, faded? Is you faded, 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 so faded, faded, faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who?
And the beat drop like.
Who got me faded? 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 This paradise somehow related. Reality so complicated. All of this life we don't waste it. Fighting to stay illuminated. All of my people the greatest. Just tryna get elevated. Switch up these situations. Know why them people be hating, debating, and faking all up in your face. Bitches need to be erased. Light it up, give you a taste. Gotta do this for my race. Give it and they will embrace. Music to heal from the hate. Not that much more we can take. Taking these breaths away. Telling my people to fight back. Gotta think smarter like Chirac. Lighting it up, we make contact. All of these leaders, I like that. Then I switch it up, last fold. See them flying up, are you ready? Let's go. Better think twice before you go down that road. Can't you see the mind control? Who got me faded? 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 So faded. Yeah, we so faded, yo. Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Who got me faded? Waking up dizzy. Never felt like this after a jizzy. Sky so shifty. Open my eyes and sip on this Remy. Oh, so faded. Sick of these niggas always debating. Secretly hating. No relation, infiltrating. What do we do with our people? Don't wanna wake up their life being sheeple. Picking that cotton and building the steeples. Raising the system where black is illegal. RBG. These be the niggas that's making you think. Time to get free. Rocking them colors that red, black, and green. When you and me get the queens with artillery. Packing up the extra heat. Warriors, you're feeling me. Time to get down. Gorilla wealth, but don't make a sound. Sirens and copters all around. Setting you up to go underground. So you can be fooled. Don't be fooled. Them Hannibal Lecters after you. Time to shoot. Now what you gon' do? Look at your youth and get us some truth. Cock that shit back, then get on the move. Taking the heat for these crystal seeds. If you awake, then you know what I mean. Who got me faded? 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 Sleep and I'm
Faded,
eat and I'm
faded,
drink and I'm faded. Wake up and I'm
faded,
sleep and I'm faded. Eat and I'm
faded,
drink and I'm faded. Wake up and I'm faded, yo. So faded, yo. Thinking about our babies, yo. Cause I'm such a lady, it's so hard for me to let it go. I can't let it go, but I'm about to let you know. Keep fucking with her, baby. I'ma have to let this power show. Faded. Who got me faded? Who?
Who got me faded?
Who got me faded?